Hey guys, it's Kelsey. So really quick, came home from work and Marcus had set this out on my desk. I'd already kind of pulled some of these green and gray elements for this photo using my Felicity Jane Jill kit, but he decided to compose or start composing my page for me. So he's pulled in some twine and some wood veneer that he found around my desk. So I'm taking it as a challenge to pull some wood veneer and twine in on this page. So I'm going to go back in with what I had started pulling in and go from there using his inspiration. So let's hop into it. Okay, so here we are. This is also the Scrap 5 challenge. So we have 5 recipe items I need to get on this page other than the wood veneer and twine, which is to use either a cut file die or punch, to use either pink or red, to get some hearts on here, to use some phrase stickers, and to use some tiny words. So that's great. You guys know I love my hearts. I'm using my Felicity Jane kit, and for whatever reason I was set on using this green even though I need to use either pink or red, but there is pink in this collection, so I'm thinking I can pull in some pink elements and it'll be fine. I am really happy to see phrase stickers and tiny words on here because I have ignored my little Tim Holtz word stickers and phrase stickers for ages. They've been, I don't know, lost somewhere. So I went and dug them out for this page, and I'm really happy to be reacquainted with them. So you'll see them pop in here later down on the layout. But yeah, I definitely wanted to get some green papers used up. I'm wearing this green shirt on this page, or in this photo, so I thought that was really appropriate. I love, love, love this star paper. You guys know this is my favorite paper from the Jill collection from Felicity Jane, so I'm really happy to be using it as my big background. I tried a couple times to use this skinny green stripe as a background, and it was just too busy. So even though it hurt my heart a little bit to cut it up because I'm really frugal with my Felicity Jane supplies, I knew I was going to use it in so much better just as smaller chunks here and there. So I just decided to cut a column of that green stripe paper to be this big horizontal blocky base for my design. I think that's going to work really well. So you can already see I have my photo there. I'm trying to pull in some vellum on this page for sure. I was thinking about this black polka dot vellum. Just because I feel like it could hold up to this star background paper. But I think I ended up going in a different direction by the end. I'm also trying to make sure I use up some pocket cards on here, so you can see I have this gray stripe. I thought about using some pink. I try a couple times to pull in some pink elements from Felicity Jane, but end up going in a different direction there as well. Pink was tricky to get on this one, even though I used the pink and green from this collection together on a previous page. For whatever reason, I really wanted to go down this green and gray route. But of course, pink or red, but I'm definitely not pulling red in on this page, was part of the challenge. So I needed to get something in by the end of the page. But for right now, I decided I would just compose what I have and I'd worry about it later. So you saw me pull in my little envelope of goodies from Jennifer. I have a tiny little tag here that I'm going to thread some twine through and tuck up on top of that photo. I'm threading the twine that she had originally put on this tag through here, and then partway through this process video I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be using that twine. That was part of what Marcus had pulled out. So I do go back and change that with twine, so you'll see that in a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and glue this stuff together. Of course, this photo is a 4x4, and I did mat it on a little bit of white cardstock that I had. So this little 3x4 pocket card was not long enough to really be a mat, so I'm just cutting a little gap where that tag is going to go so it looks like it's matting that photo, and then it's just going to run behind this big stripe block on the bottom, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't like mat the entire photo. But I think that looks cool, brings in that gray, uses up a pocket card, so I'm happy about that. And then there's also this really cute circular chipboard piece that has some black and gray gingham with a green heart on it. And since I'm supposed to be using hearts, I thought that was appropriate too. You can also see that green heart branding strip that I've tried to get on multiple pages by now is finally going to get glued down, so that way I get my hearts used up for the Scrap 5 challenge. But yeah, there you can see I just replaced the twine with the white twine with this brown twine that Marcus had pulled in, and now I'm just going to glue down a couple of these elements. I know they're going to go there. I really like how this is being composed currently, so I'm trying to keep that. There's so many bits and pieces moving around, I just had to glue some stuff down. So yeah, and then I did fussy cut this love you out of another pocket card, and it's in that nice gray. And since I pulled in that same color gray in the other diagonal pocket card by the photo, I thought it'd be nice to pull that love you up there to kind of balance that, and I really like that too. I also took a scrap of this striped paper and just I'm going to cut that into a banner to go by that love you as well. Just that pattern is up there as well. I think that creates really nice balance. So that's kind of what I'm planning. I do need to gut the star paper for sure because there's this huge horizontal piece that's being covered by this striped paper, and I do not want to use the star paper on only one layout because it's my favorite pattern paper from this collection. So while I want it to be a large portion of this page, to have a page that's really showcasing it, I don't want to use all of it. So I'm gutting this little piece here that's going to be behind that large layer so I can pull that in on another layout. So just gutting that, and then I'll glue down that big chunk to fill that gap. But yeah, I had to save some of that just because it's so cute. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and get it glued down. And then I think I need to revisit my little recipe card here because I think so far I've only gotten hearts used up from my scrap 5 element. And I've only gotten the twine used up from what Marcus pulled in, so I still want to pull some wood veneer in too. But yeah, I really like how this little gingham chipboard heart looked too, so I think I just put some glue on the back of that to pop on there too, because that's definitely going by that tag. I think that looks adorable. And then I had this little scrap of gingham vellum left over from a previous page, so I decided to tuck that behind that tag as well. It just has an extra little layer. I think that printed vellum looks so nice as a little layery detail behind that tag, so that's going to stay there too. And then I also had an additional challenge. So Jennifer had sent me these really cool 7 Gypsy like brad things, and they're so cool, and she said she has these and she's been struggling with using them for a while, so she was setting a challenge for me to get them on a page, and I think they're so cool. And I hadn't used them yet because they looked kind of vintagey. I think 7 Gypsies always has very vintagey styled looking things, but when I looked at them, I'm like, they're black and white, like I can use those on pretty much anything. So I decided to go ahead and pull them in on this page. I'm like, I'm doing challenges from everybody on this page. We're doing a scrap 5 challenge. I'm using stuff that Marcus challenged me to use. I'm using stuff Jennifer challenged me to use, but I thought this black piece looks so cool. And it comes with some eyelets and some brads. I think another reason I kind of was avoiding using them because I was waiting to get a crocodile or something because I don't have anything to inset eyelets with right now. So I was thinking I could use, they came with a couple brads. I could have used the brads, I guess, but once I pulled in this twine, I was like, I'm just going to thread the hole with the twine and use it that way and use it like a little banner. So that's definitely one way to use that, Jennifer, if you want to put some twine through that instead of having to use the eyelets or the brads that come with it. I think that's super cool, but I'm thinking that's going to go there. I really like that big black element that says remember, and for whatever reason that font is reading a little bit Western to me, and with these being horse photos, I thought that was really appropriate, especially with me pulling in the twine as well. It just went, and I would have never in a million years thought about using these 7 Gypsy products with a Felicity Jane product because I feel like they're completely different aesthetics, but for whatever reason, with it being this black and white, I just felt like I could get away with it. So we're trying it. We're experimenting on this page and trying to use all the things, so it's happening. But you did just see me border that branding strip with a little bit of black that I used a border punch on, so I did use my punch for my scrap 5. I like that little scallopy detail that adds. I also like that it pulls the black down there because now that I'm using this big black element, and you can see that tiny little one that also came in that 7 Gypsies pack that says good times. I tucked that up in the upper right hand corner behind that love you. So now that I'm introducing these black elements, I thought that little black scallop was really nice on that border strip. So that's kind of where I'm working with. The other little things that came in the 7 Gypsy pads, I don't know if you saw that little good times piece that's up there, but it's triangular, and the shape was giving me a little bit of a problem trying to work it in with my cluster. But once I decided to just tuck that piece behind these other layers and just have the good times poke out, I think that looks so cute, and it's just a nice little detail, and it brings that same like metal and that look and that font and, you know, the black heaviness up there, and I think that looks awesome. I think it adds such a cool detail, and and texture. So I'm really happy about that. So that's another thing, Jennifer, if you're having a hard time with the more little triangular pieces, you don't have to use them as triangles if you just tuck them behind your layers like that, because I did that with that Good Times one. I think that looks super cute. So those are my two ideas for those little bits and pieces from Seven Gypsies for her. But I just love what those added to my page. I think they just changed the whole vibe, but it really added to the aesthetic of this photo and the look I was going for. Even though to me the twine and the wood veneer and these Seven Gypsy little metallic plates do not read Felicity Jane at all, I'm really surprised by how well they looked with it. So I'm just a little chuffed about that. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of these things glued down. You can see I used a little scrap from that scallopy border in the upper right hand corner as well. And I also found places for a couple of these little wood veneer pieces, so you'll see me sprinkle them around the page. I did use all three pieces that Marcus had brought in for me, which were the camera and the two arrows. But I did have one feather wood veneer left, and for whatever reason that felt equestrian to me. I don't know why. So I did get the feather on there as well. And then I had one little scrap of this twine bundle he had pre-cut for me. So I did just make that a little circular lasso, almost looks like a lasso, which is also appropriate for the horse theme. But I'm just going to use my little tiny attacher to staple that little bundle of twine to the upper right hand corner, just so that texture and color is up there as well. So super eclectic page. By the end, you can see I'm working with my little Scrap 5 checklist there. I got my punch, I got my hearts. I need to pull in phrase stickers and tiny words, so you can see I pulled in my two Tim Holtz books. So I'm looking through the black. I'm thinking about just layering this striped pattern paper on the bottom with just a selection of tiny words and phrases. So I really went for the black because once I pulled in these cool Seven Gypsies plates, I really felt like I needed some more black to kind of balance that big piece down there. So I'm just lining those up there. You can see I did memories from the tiny words, and then I did a couple phrase stickers. I think it says, live each day with grace and authenticity, and then there's see possibility everywhere. Excuse me, and then I'm also going to layer the bottom of this striped piece as well, just so it's sandwiched with little cute phrases and words, and I really like that that adds that black and that white text as well. So it really pulls in off of those Seven Gypsy pieces. So it's just taking me a while. I'm really wanting it to perfectly span this striped piece of paper. I don't think it does quite perfectly, but I think it's close enough. And then you can see I'm working on the bottom here. I put smile, love, inspire, and then I also use the phrases be brave with your life, start each day with a grateful heart, and give out what you most want to come back. So really quick before the process video just ends, this photo is of me and a horse named Boss from one of my horsemanship classes while I was at the University of Georgia. So they did have horse riding classes. I'd been riding for a while, but like I needed some animal science electives, and this was one of them. So I was like, why not ride horses for class? So you switch horses amongst the class and everything, and this is just one of the horses I got to ride. His name was Boss, and I just love him. I tend to bond a lot better with Goldens, or not Goldens, I was thinking of Billy because he's looking at me right now, Geldings instead of mares, which, you know, are just boys versus girls. I love my boy horses. I just bond so much better with them. And Boss was one of those that I just bonded with. He challenged me a lot during our first ride together, but once he kind of got the gist of what we were doing and like, I'm not going to take his nonsense, we can do this, and after we really, like, you know, got to know each other a little and enjoyed riding, then he was so good for me for the rest of the class. And at one point we needed to switch horses with somebody else, and he was not having the other person, so the instructor made us switch back. So I actually got to stay with him during the whole semester, which usually you're supposed to switch horses halfway through and use someone else's. But I just wanted to note that on here. I love him. His name is Boss, and he is my friend. But yeah, I still needed to get pink on here from the last Scrap 5 elements, so I did just go in with some pink Nouveau drops at the end instead of using some pink ephemera. And I like how that little touch looks. It's a little unexpected having some pink in there, but I actually like the contrast that it has, and I'm a little pinky in the photo, so I think it works out. And then I'm going back with a title. I'm just titling it Boss Man. His name is Boss, but I always called him Boss Man, so I wanted that detail on there. And then I realized I wanted to do a little bit of journaling just because I think this is the only photo I have of Boss. I actually think this is of our last day of class, and I hadn't taken any pictures of him. So I wanted to do a little bit of journaling since this is the only page with him. But it just says, I don't know what it is, but I tend to bond with geldings, and Boss was no exception. Horsemanship class, May 25, 2012. So, but I think that's the end of this page. So I am super excited by how it turned out. It's super like different, but also me in a strange way. So I hope everyone who had challenged me to get whatever they challenged me to use on a page, I hope they're happy with that. I really, really loved incorporating all this different stuff into this Felicity Jane kit because I would have never put these things together. But I really like the end result, so thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you use the hashtag Scrap5 if you play along with our recipe so we can all see, and make sure you check out everyone else's videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.